18 months old, 14 meters from snout to tail tip, 8 tons of pure prehistoric power. The single most dangerous animal in the Everglades by an absurd margin. Alligators spot your silhouette and silently slip away. Deer refuse to approach water during your hunting hours. Even the invasive Burmese pythons vanish when you're near. You're the undisputed apex. No rivals, no competition, and you're starving. You need roughly 40 kilograms of meat daily just to maintain mass. In the Cretaceous, one 200-kilogram sawfish could feed you for days. Here, the largest reliable fish tops out at 15 kilograms. You burn energy chasing scraps. An ecosystem never built for something this size. Success is killing you. You've over-predated your range. Fish populations crash locally, alligator numbers plummet, wading bird colonies abandon nesting sites after raids. The food web frays. You push into coastal mangroves and brackish zones, instincts pulling you toward deeper, saltier water. An 18-foot Burmese python coils around your leg in dense vegetation. It squeezes with terrifying force, but you're 8 tons. You drop into the water and death roll. The python loses its grip. One shake of your jaws ends it. Inside its stomach, a half-digested alligator, invasive eating native, you eating both. The food chain isn't just broken, it's collapsing under your weight, deeper into American crocodile territory. A massive 17-foot bull croc doesn't flee. It displays aggressively, head slapping the water, bellowing a challenge that silences the marsh. You answer with a low hiss. Posturing turns to violence. It clamps your shoulder and shakes, bone cracks, pain like fire. You lock claws into its hide. Both of you roll in a muddy underwater frenzy. Visibility 0, lungs burning. For the first time since the shark, death feels close. Mass wins. You force it shallow, clamp its throat, and hold it under until it stills. You drag yourself onto a sandbar, shoulder mangled and bleeding. Vultures begin to circle. You've eliminated the last major coastal predator and earned a deep, infected wound with no medicine. While healing in deeper water, a 15-foot small-toothed sawfish glides past. Your DNA ignites. This is Onchopristis reborn, your species' ancient staple. Teeth embedded in fossils prove Spinosaurus regularly hunted these armored giants. You strike without thought. The rostrum slashes your face, but you hold fast, drowning it. Dragging it ashore, you feast on the one prey that feels right, familiar in a world that isn't. It was the last one in the area, critically endangered, gone. 1 year later, your 60-square-mile core territory is a ghost zone. Alligator populations down over 60%. Large fish locally extinct in your zones. Deer avoid water entirely at your times. Birds have relocated. You've removed the top of the food chain by becoming something far worse. Starvation forces wider ranging, 100 miles now, burning precious energy for diminishing returns. Dawn breaks over a coastal slough. The marsh is eerily silent, not empty. Everything has learned that your presence means death. You rumble that low-frequency call again, the one from hatchling days meant for siblings long extinct. No answer comes. None ever will. In Cretaceous North Africa, Spinosaurus thrived in a giant-friendly ecosystem, abundant megafauna, competing predators, and a resilient food web scaled for animals like you. The Everglades is a modern miracle of biodiversity, but it's tuned for 10 to 14-foot alligators and pythons. Not an 8-ton sail-backed fish hunter from the age of dinosaurs. You conquered everything. You dominated so completely that you broke the very system you needed to survive. And now, alone in a swamp that looks like home, but never was, the apex predator of the Everglades will likely starve in silence. Proof that being the biggest doesn't mean you belong. This was inspired by the incredible new discovery of Spinosaurus mirabilis, that scimitar-crested wonder that reminds us how much more there is to learn about these incredible animals. It's a love letter to what-if paleo speculation. What happens when deep time collides with a modern ecosystem? If you loved this survival story, let me know your favorite moment in the comments. Would you want more? Maybe Uranus as an invasive in the frozen north of Canada, or another prehistoric giant dropped into today's world. Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. Follow on TikTok and Instagram for exclusive clips and behind the scenes. And if you're still hungry for more prehistoric chaos, check out the video suggested on screen right now. Thanks for watching. Stay wild out there. They just announced the discovery of a new species of Spinosaurus, Spinosaurus mirabilis, the hell heron, a breathtaking predator. Crowned with a massive, scimitar-shaped crest that likely blazed like a warning signal under the ancient Saharan sun. At up to 17 meters long, this beast was built for the water. Its dense bones, paddle-like tail, and crocodile-like snout scream semi-aquatic specialist. The original Spinosaurus aegyptiacus already rewrote the rules of dinosaur biology. This new one doubled down on the aquatic lifestyle. Now, imagine one egg from this lost world surviving the eons, buried in the mud of a Florida tree island in the Everglades. The Everglades, hot, humid, teeming with life, is the closest thing modern Earth has to a Cretaceous North African wetland. But ecosystems have balance. Drop a 95-million-year-old giant into that system, and every rule shatters. This is the story of what happens when you hatch as Spinosaurus mirabilis in the modern Florida Everglades. You explode into the world during the peak of hurricane season. It's late August. Category 4 winds scream at 90 miles per hour. Rain doesn't fall. It hammers down like a collapsing ocean. The egg finally cracks under the pressure. Your first breath is half water, half chaos. Lightning strobes across the sky. Trees bend like they're about to snap. Most newborns would drown or be swept away in seconds. But your DNA remembers nightmares like this. Your webbed feet, powerful tail, and clawed hands are engineered for exactly this kind of aquatic hell. You hold on for 3 grueling hours as the storm tries to erase you. When the wind finally dies and the rain eases to a drizzle, you're alive. Exhausted, disoriented, utterly alone. Day 1 complete. You survived a natural disaster that would kill most hatchlings. 3 days pass. Hunger gnaws into starvation. Your metabolism is a furnace, built for rapid growth in a world of abundant prey. In ancient North Africa, hatchling Spinosaurus swam in waters thick with juvenile sawfish, giant Mausonia, and schools of lungfish. Here, everything feels wrong. The fish are smaller, faster, and warier. You lunge at a largemouth base and belly flop face first into the mud. A long-nosed gar slips away like a silver ghost. You try a turtle. Your jaws aren't strong enough yet to crack the shell. Desperation wins. You tear at sawgrass, swallowing anything. 10 minutes later, your stomach revolts. Plants are useless. You're an obligate carnivore. Finally, you find a half-rotten fish abandoned by an alligator. It tastes like decay and desperation, but it's calories. That's when you learn Rule 1 of the Everglades. If you didn't kill it, something else did, and that something is probably still watching. You adapt fast. By week 3, you've claimed a deeper slough. You master the art of ambush. Stand motionless like a submerged log. Sense pressure waves with your sensitive snout, then strike with lightning speed. 2 small fish in quick succession. Victory feels close. Then something massive moves through the water. Your instincts scream, "Big fish, geesh, big meal." You dive to investigate. It's no fish. It's a 9-foot bull shark, one of the few sharks bold enough to hunt in fresh water. Bull sharks are notoriously aggressive, cruising up rivers and into swamps with zero fear. Your ancestors tangled with similar-sized squaliceracs, but you're only 4 feet long and weeks old. The shark sees lunch, not competition. It delivers a test bite to your tail. Pain explodes. You let out your first real vocalization, a high, piercing distress call that cuts across the marsh like a siren. The shark circles back. You can't outswim it. Panic drives you toward shallow water, claws scrabbling in the mud. It follows into knee-deep shallows. In pure desperation, you slash with a clawed hand across its ultra-sensitive snout. The shark recoils and retreats. You collapse on the bank, bleeding, heart pounding. Lesson 2. Even the water isn't safe. And for a creature built for aquatic life, that's a terrifying problem. The tail heals with a permanent kink, a jagged reminder. You shift to shallower hunting grounds, smaller prey, but lower risk. Blood in the water, however, is an invitation. An 8-foot American alligator has been trailing you. It smells weakness and charges with a gaping threat display. You try to retreat, smart move when injured, but it attacks anyway. Its jaws clamp your damaged tail. You spin and rake claws across its eye in blind fury. It bellows. You counterbot its foreleg. Neither of you can finish the other. You both back off, bloody and battered. In the Cretaceous, young Spinosaurus faced massive crocodilomorphs, often with siblings. Here, you're solo. You let out a low-frequency rumble, the call for clutch mates that will never answer. The silence that follows is deafening. 6 months in. You're now 10 feet long and 200 pounds. The tail kink is permanent, but you've honed your skills. You avoid aggressive gator territories. Hunting feels manageable. That's always the warning sign. The dry season hits. November to April. South Florida turns the tap off. Water levels drop daily. Fish cram into shrinking pools. Alligators and wading birds feast. For you, a growing semi-aquatic giant needing depth to hunt efficiently, it's a slow-motion catastrophe. Pools vanish. Your favorite slough shrinks to ankle deep. Starvation returns with a vengeance. Hunger makes predators reckless. You find a legendary gator hole, one of the last deep refuges packed with desperate fish and turtles, guarded by 3 territorial alligators. Rule says, walk away. Conserve energy. Starvation says otherwise. You charge at dawn. The biggest, a 12-footer, bellows a warning. You ignore it. Chaos erupts. One gator latches onto your leg, teeth grinding bone. Another shreds your sail membrane. The largest pins your neck. You fight like your Cretaceous ancestors, using sheer mass and those powerful clawed arms. You body slam, slash deep gashes, and puncture skulls with your claws. The gators retreat. You claim the hole and gorge for hours. Victory tastes like blood and relief. But the injuries sting, and the hole empties fast. You need new strategies. At dusk, a 100-pound white-tailed deer approaches the water's edge. Mammals in your home era were rat-sized and nocturnal. This is a feast on legs. Your first ambush fails. Deer are wired for Florida's native predators. The second succeeds after hours of perfect stillness. You drag it under and drown it. A brand new hunting tactic. A freak cold snap rolls in, temperatures plunging to near freezing for 3 nights, rare but brutal in South Florida. You're a tropical reptile at heart. Crocodilians brumate, slowing everything down. You're still growing, still burning hot. The water offers some insulation, but you can't stay submerged forever. Shivering on the second night, barely able to move. The third night, hunting is impossible. When the sun returns, you bask for hours, angling your massive sail like a biological solar panel. Heat floods your system. The sail, once debated as display or thermoregulation, literally saves your life. Florida weather doesn't care about your evolutionary history. It will try to cook you in summer and freeze you in winter. The wet season returns. You're tougher now, scarred, wiser. Confidence begins to bloom. Then the ecosystem starts noticing you.